I'm here at Largo Middle School, where students have been reading Endangered, a book we actually covered in our Festival of Reading episode when we interviewed the author, Eliot Schrefer. Eliot is here today at the request of one of Largo Middle's teachers, Sharon Poulos. As you can see, the Media Center looks a little bit non-traditional today. In fact, it's been transformed to the setting of Eliot's book, The Congo. Let's see what's happening.
What's going on right now? It's corrupt. It's corrupt, and some of you aren't as far in the book as others of you, but Sophie is running from that corrupt government, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I grew up around here. Grew up in Pinellas County. I didn't go to Largo Middle. I went to Safety Harbor Middle, but it feels kind of similar now being here. Then I went to Countryside High School, and I graduated in '97, so it was like a lifetime ago. But then I went to college up north, and then wandered around Europe for a year afterwards, and then wound up in New York City. I've been living there ever since. And I didn't know I was going to be a writer. It was a totally sideways way that I approached having to do it. Because I know sometimes your parents put pressure on you. You're a little young yet to have it, but you should get an advanced degree, and then you can make a lot of money and have a nice house. And I thought I would go to grad school, and just so I could have a good career. But I applied to grad programs, and I just didn't get in anywhere for 1 year. And then I applied to more programs, and I didn't get in anywhere a second year. So I had like a year to kill before I could apply again, and just nothing to do in it. So I decided that I would try to write a book. But I totally wandered into Endangered sideways. I didn't know I was going to write about apes ever. And it was a really surprise concept for me, because I'm not even like an animal person. We always had like a dog growing up, but it was never like a huge preoccupation of mine. But then once I started finding out about bonobos, I just got really, really excited. There's something really cool about them. If you ever want to like lose an afternoon and just waste a whole afternoon, you should go on YouTube and just look up bonobo videos. Which it's so easy to lose an afternoon on YouTube. I'm sure everyone's had that experience. But if you look up bonobos, the first thing you see is a bonobo playing Pac-Man. So there's this Great Ape Institute in Iowa where they've trained bonobos to actually speak. They don't use their voices, but they point to pictures to make full sentences. So if it's sunny outside, you'll see this bonobo sitting in front of these pictures saying, like, me, go outside. Or if they're hungry, they're like, me, want a brownie. It's kind of cool. But they also, when the bonobos aren't working, they have some downtime, so they'll play video games. So it's like, you see this ape. It's like this hairy ape with the joystick trying to move Pac-Man around to get the pellets and avoid the ghosts. And he's not very good at Pac-Man. It's not like he's especially skilled, but he is playing the game right. And then there's another bonobo that makes spaghetti. So she'll put the water on the burner, turn the burner on, go into the cupboard, get the package out, cut it open, and then pour these noodles into the boiling water. It's actually kind of scary to see because she's not really good at it, and she's got this really sharp knife and is trying to saw open the package. But it was really cool to watch because those were things that I thought only people could do. And then here was this animal doing it instead. But except for Sake, I would sit down by the fence, and I would just sort of look at the bonobos, and inevitably she would come over from wherever she was and sit on the other side of the fence. So I took this picture like between those electric wires. And she was really shy, but really curious at the same time. So I would look at her, and she would look away. Then I would look away. And when I looked back, she was looking at me, and then she would look away. So we had this like weird game going on. And you can see there that hip flexing that I told you, like that their legs are so often way over their head, like this guy. And right now they're just playing, but it's actually practice for when they're adults, because they will have to like settle disputes and be able to use their bodies to interact with each other, and know their own strength. So it's a really important part of their upbringing, is just hanging out and playing for a while. And that's kind of like, if you look at American society and Congo society, that you have all this warfare in Congo, that a lot of that is about resources. It's not just that they're not nice to each other. Why aren't they nice to each other? It's that they're starving and they don't have enough to eat, and so of course they're going to fight each other.
In the book, there's a lot about the militia there.
Yeah.
Do you have any learnings about that?
Yeah. Was I worried about the soldiers where I was? I actually had to stretch things from the way they usually work in the book, because the war was mostly in the eastern part of the country, and that's 1,000 miles away from Kinshasa, where I was. So it's possible that war would come to Kinshasa, but it's not very likely. So when I was in the sanctuary, there's always the threat of general crime, but there wasn't the threat of actual militias coming any day. Like, you would have a little bit more warning than Sophie did. So I kind of stretched the reality of the situation a little to make the novel work.
After sharing his experiences and inspiration behind the book, Eliot read a passage aloud so students could hear the words spoken by the author, truly bringing the book to life.
Lagged behind. What a sight we must have been, me running with an ape on my back, trailing another bonobo attached by a leash. I input the code, and the buzzing of the electricity stopped. I grabbed the duffel, dropping the steak as I did, and passed through the gate with Otto in the duffel. I turned just in time to watch Sangololo hobble through. We'd made it.
It's very mind-blowing. It's very experience. Like, Sophie's going through a lot, and just dangers everywhere.
Excellent. So what was something you learned today from Eliot?
I learned, well, he was talking about the monkey, and he's saying anything in Africa can be taken from you, so we got to appreciate what we have here in America.
Following Eliot's presentation, we had a moment to talk with him. So you're a product of Pinellas County Schools, right, Eliot?
I am. I went to Safety Harbor Middle School for 3 years and then Countryside High School.
Oh, excellent. And you spoke with students at Countryside High School yesterday?
Yeah, it was really exciting, actually. There was like a sort of a homecoming. It's been 15 years since I went to Countryside.
Wow.
But I set my alarm for the same time that I used to when I went to high school and drove the same route, and it felt like I was going to school again, except I was much older.
And it's definitely very early.
Yeah, it was.
What is it like talking with students, about your book, and especially students who've read your book?
Yeah, it's been really great, because often I speak to students who haven't read any of the book, and so it's kind of just introducing them to the material, but you get some really great questions from students who have already read it. And it's also, when you live in Florida, there aren't as many people in publishing, because publishing tends to be in New York City, so you don't find a lot of writers living here, so I think it's more unique for the students to have someone who's actually an author, with local ties. So I think it was exciting for all of us.
And it was even interesting how you shared throughout the writing process that it took 4 to 5 months to write the book, but the editing was much longer than that.
Right. Yeah, about twice as long.
Right.
I think, and that's what separates beginning writers from ones that actually get published, is realizing that you just have to spend a long time making it better. Like, you can write something really crummy and then just work on it for a long time until it's good.
So you were probably confused coming here today because it looks like the Congo. Or it was a fair attempt at recreating the Congo. So if you had a magic wand and you can bring one thing to this media center that would make it feel more like the Congo, one thing, what would it be? Doesn't have to be good either.
Intense poverty.
Intense poverty, yeah.
Malaria. No, it's. I think the cool thing about Congo is that it's got all of the big, awesome animals that live somewhere else. All those the child's alphabet animals like lions and giraffes and elephants. They're all actually there. So you would just have an elephant walking through, and it would feel like Congo.
It would feel more like Congo, yeah. So I also heard you mention to the students that you're going to have a series coming out about apes. So will that require some traveling as well? Yeah,
this could be actually the first announcement of the series. We just finished the deal. So there's going to be a great ape quartet. So there'll be 4 different novels, one about each of the great apes. So I've already written about the bonobos with endangered, and next up are the chimpanzees. That'll be coming out next spring. And then the orangutans will be next, and they're set in Indonesia, and then gorillas finally. We also had an opportunity to talk with Sharon Poulis, who organized today's event.
I met Eliot Schrefer at USF for the book fair thing that they had there, and as soon as I heard him talk about the novel, I knew it was one that my class would enjoy, and so I asked him to come to Largo, and he did. He accepted the offer.
Excellent. And I walked in here today, I was really confused because I thought I was in the Congo. I actually thought I saw a bonobo checking out a book earlier. So why don't you tell me about your inspiration and how you recreated the Congo in the media center here today?
Well, the art department was very helpful here. The art teacher and all the students made all the bugs, and we brought in trees. We all chipped in and brought in trees from home so that he would feel at home in the Congo.
Excellent. And what about those origami-looking flowers? Are those native?
Those are all from the art students who studied the Congo and looked at pictures and made them from pictures from the Congo.
Excellent. So Eliot came to discuss his latest book, Endangered, with your students today. And so have your students read the book? And if they have, what were their reactions?
They love the book. We're not quite through with it yet, but we're almost through with it. And we're really, really excited about it. They love it. I love it. It's very, very exciting. Keeps you on the edge of your seat and wanting to read more.